Okay, let's get you the very latest now in terms of Nandipha Magudumana's request to have her deportation from Tanzania declared illegal. The Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Motsoaledi, held a media briefing today, and he's disputing this, and he's saying all processes were followed and everything is up to scratch. Linda Mnisi was at that press briefing, and he joins us now with the detail in terms of what it is that we heard from the Home Affairs Minister. Linda, essentially insisting that they weren't even cited in these papers by Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. And what now?
Indeed, and he's saying that because, you'll remember, part of the arrest or the issues relating to the arrest also involved the process of deportation. And, you know, as he says, the Tanzanian authorities requested that they bring an immigration official who would then be responsible for taking over this matter, or taking Thabo Bester as well as Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. That statement alone raises a number of questions around the arrest, when it happened, who brought them back and whatnot. But he says, as people who basically handled the deportation, we were supposed to be, cited in these papers. Let's take a listen.
The Director General was shocked to discover that the Department of Home Affairs and I, as the Minister, were not cited as respondents in that matter. This is despite the fact that on the 15th of May, 2023, coincidentally is the day on which Bester got his birth certificate, but they are not related, but I'm just mentioning it. This is despite the fact that on the 15th of May, 2023, there were exchange of correspondence between the Director General and Newzroom Inc., attorneys of record for Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. The attorneys wrote us letters, there was an exchange, and that then they go to court without citing Home Affairs. It shocked us.
It doesn't end there, because the department now wants to revoke Nandipha Magudumana's passport.
Yes, it certainly wants to do that, and they're saying that they've already started the process of revoking her passport. And this, of course, in the backdrop of her being found in Tanzania with her passport, as well as two other passports. We know that those passports belong to Dr. Meragan, who's also known as Dr. Pashi. So at this particular moment, the department saying we're now moving to have her passport revoked. It was indeed a valid passport and had an expiring date. It was currently active and had not expired yet. So they're moving and they're getting legal opinion around how they're going to do that. Let's take a listen.
The Director General will be taking due legal process steps in terms of the South African Passports and Travel Documentation Act number 4 of 1994, read with the relevant regulations, to revoke the passport issued to Dr. Nandipha Magudumana on the 16th of February 2017, which is due to expire on the 15th of February 2027.
Convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester now has a passport, with the Home Affairs Minister brandishing it about. Was Popia followed?
Well, what he tells us is that, he got a written response or permission from Thabo Bester to show the nation that indeed he now has an ID. You'll remember it comes also at the backdrop of, him not having ID numbers and, a lot of issues around his background, his identity, and who claims to be his mother. And if you trace the matter back, it started essentially with that burnt body that we now belongs to Katlego Bereng, because the DNA tests were done with the body and the mother, and they found that these two individuals were not related. Who is this Thabo Bester? And, he couldn't be found in the National Population Registry and all of those issues. When the death certificate was issued for that body, it was said to be Thabo Bester, but it had no ID numbers. The notice of death also had no ID numbers, and it really brought about a number of questions about who he is, where he comes from. The minister previously told us that they searched for documents around who he is, and what they found through an interview that the mother had done with the media, they found that she had given birth to Thabo at Baragwanath Hospital, there were records of his birth, but it just wasn't registered with the Home Affairs Department. We're told Thabo Bester now followed all the procedures and cooperated with officials, including his mother, who had to sign off some documents granting him now an ID document. Let's take a listen to what the minister had to say.
Thabo Bester was issued with an identity card on the 17th of May 2023. His name has now been entered into the National Population Register, thus ending many years of his status as an unidentifiable person.
Linda Mnisi, thank you very much for that detail.